I think we're live.
Okay, beautiful. We are live and on the ripple effect here with Dave and Erica and special guest Sandeep. First, just wanted to do a quick check-in with my esteemed co-host Erica to see how you were doing. And
Hi, I'm good. I'm so happy to be here. It's going to be fun to chat with you both.
yeah, we have somebody.
Absolutely. This is going to be fantastic. I think.
Yeah, and how are you doing, Sandeep? For those of you who don't know, Sandeep actually runs a healthy food delivery service, and pardon my layman's terms for that. But how are you doing today?
You got that absolutely right, David.
Oh, good.
Yeah, what I do is I run a company that does healthy food delivery service. We cook and prep healthy meals for people and get it delivered throughout the Bay Area, and we also ship them in California.
Excellent. We're going to be talking more about that. I know he's currently serving the Oakland Rotary #3, a great club in Oakland, and just a lot of great offerings that he has, which we're going to have him talk about. But first, thought we'd do a quick check-in with Erica for anything health related or Erica sponsored events that are coming up. What do you have on the calendar, Erica?
So much going on. I will be having a radical self-care Zoom, resuming of the Zoom of radical self-care Zoom. So that should be coming up. I'll declare that very shortly and get that over to you. And personally, I'm getting ready for a swim meet that's coming up in mid-October. So I haven't competed since my teenager years officially. So this is what's happening as I'm getting ready for that. It's kind of daunting and exciting. And yeah. And I'm also doing a shred. That's where we take on good habits and let go of not so great ones in terms of clean eating. And there's a whole program that goes with that. So if that's what you were asking about, David, I answered the question. Shred guidelines are awesome for, really taking your health to the next level.
Nice.
Excellent. Perfect. Yeah. And I have been working my program, so to speak. And once I get this live event done this week, I'll be not this one, but another conference I'm producing on, then I'll be a little bit freer to get back to some of my more intense exercising. But I did want to just get right to Sandeep, just in the interest of time, and we have a lot of interesting angles to pursue with him, and there's a big crossover too with what Erica does and her knowledge of healthy food. So if you don't mind, Sandeep, just telling us about your story and how you got into doing what you do, and the business that you're in, and also what brought you to the Bay Area as well.
Yeah, so I can start right from the beginning. This is sort of a coming of age story of how everything happened and how I ended up starting the company. And obviously, after I started the company and I look back a number of years, everything seems 2020, right? And kind of how it all came together. So when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I got very, very sick from eating some contaminated meats. And, I had some really bad symptoms, including, seizures, vomiting, diarrhea, and a cascade of other health problems. I wasn't able to be treated in Nepal, where I was growing up at the time. So I was actually flown to Thailand for treatment by my parents. Fortunately, they had the means to do that, even though we're from, a third world country like Nepal. And I was able to get treated. The treated involved a lot of antipsychotic medicine for a number of months. And after multiple treatments and a long, I think 3 or 4 year long medicine regimen, I was eventually cured of the disease. It was basically a tapeworm cyst that went to my brain, and caused a lot of problems, right? So eventually I got cured from taking all the medicine, but unfortunately, the medicine for, in order to cure me, had a lot of side effects, right? So, I had no idea what I was, going through when I was going through at that time. And, at a very young age, I was like pretty much like, on a lot of heavy meds and which caused me to be very mentally blunt and made me very lethargic and lazy. So as a side effect of all of that, I ended up putting on a lot of weight from a very young age, right? So I struggled with managing my weight from a very young age, and trying to go back to school and having a normal life was a struggle because I was always like bullied for being the fattest kid in the class, and then I was a butt of every joke, and I struggled with that for a long time after I was cured of the disease, right? So um, when I was about, I think, 15 or 16 years old, I was already very conscious of my weight and how to manage it, and trying to find ways of losing that weight and trying to kind of fit in. And so there wasn't a lot of education or knowledge available at the time, out there that was accessible, to do it in a healthy way. So I obviously developed a number of, I think, eating disorders from a very young age. Trying to, demonizing certain foods over others, trying all kinds of different diets from a very young age. And so by the time I was 18 or 19 years old, I'd already tried all kinds of diets under the sun, right? But one of the, the main thing was every time I tried a diet and I succeeded, I always ended up failing after, or going right back to square one right after I stopped eating healthy, right? So I was basically yo-yo dieting a lot throughout my teenage years. And then eventually when I moved to the United States to pursue my business degree, then I was obviously a lot older, and there was also a lot more accessible information about eating healthier and dieting and things like that. And so I educated myself, started eating healthier, working out and all of that. But I still wasn't pursuing a career in healthcare or in food, anything like that. I was pursuing a career in accounting and finance. However, I never found, because of maybe what I'd been through all my life, I never was passionate about following a business degree, and I wasn't really, because I didn't have ownership over what I did. But eventually, going through my corporate jobs and trying to stay healthy, I struggled with trying to eat healthy and working out again, right? And so one day I was talking to my friends over breakfast about how difficult it was to actually eat healthy and have a corporate life, at the same time. And then one of my friends, asked the question, imagine how many other people have that issue, right? So that was like a light bulb moment when we figured that it wasn't just my issue, it was everybody's issue, right? Everybody has some sort of a health goal that they want to achieve, right? Or even if they don't have a specific health goal, everybody wants to stay healthy, and live through life. And it gets harder and harder as you become an adult, are busy, don't have time to cook or prep, right? And so that was the beginning of an idea, and we figured that there aren't really companies. This was around 2014, when we figured that there weren't a lot of companies that were filling that void in the market, right? Providing healthy meals that are delivered to customers, and so we immediately decided right there and then to start a company that would cater to that, right? And so so it's been about 8 years since I started the company. And the rest is history. That was just the beginning of
Well put. And I think it is a common theme on this show and also on my other podcast, Quantum Leap, about, this kind of life-changing moment to where we get this awareness of our purpose. And I think Erika has, I would say, a somewhat similar story with her health awareness and what she does for her work. I don't know if you mind sharing that, Erika, or I'd tell it, but I wouldn't tell it the right way. But so that's great to hear. And there's such a big need for that here in the Bay Area too, for what both of you guys do, because it really does start with the food, but most people don't know how to get there on their own. So you have to have somebody who actually cares about it and cares about the kind of the goal there to show you the way, so to speak. So did you have any comments on his story, Erika, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, how fun to hear you share and appreciate your healing journey, Sandeep. And you're making it easier for people to take their steps on their health journey, is what I imagine. And I'm curious, like how, so I'm happy to, oh my gosh, we get a chat. And I'm curious what has changed in your 8 years of doing this business. Like, I love your name, Low Cal Foods, Cali. So that makes me think that you're sourcing your foods from local farms. And how are you growing what you're growing? I'd love to hear about that. So my health journey is I have a fun long story of that, and now I'm becoming this athlete that I never thought I could be, because I've been eating better and better and better and cleaner these 12 years. And then more than that, it was like more like 15, 20 years, 30 years, so when I started to go more vegetarian in 1987. So how wonderful that you figured out a way to heal yourself. I have people in my life who have celiac disease, who, like, if they eat the wrong thing, it makes them really ill. I have a dairy allergy, so it makes me ill. I'm much better now with that, but for the most part, I stay away from dairy and gluten products because it's just very bad for my allergies, my congestion. But now I can breathe all the time. So
Right.
the story of healing, you have really experienced it for yourself. So I can't wait to hear more about what your meals look like, and how have you as a business changed over the 8 years. You're in the Bay Area, where there's a lot of healthy people and savvy healthy people in the Bay Area. So anyway, I said a lot of things. Does that give you some ideas of where you want to go next?
Yeah, so basically, when we started, we had some very strict preconceived ideas about what's healthy and what's not, and as we've grown the company, and it's grown in terms of the business, but we've also grown in terms of philosophy, I think. So it's for us, it's not about, I think we used to be about, oh, this is healthy and that's not healthy, and you should eat this versus that, right? In the beginning, but as we've grown, we've obviously evolved. I've evolved, from that, and realized that there are certain toxic ways of thinking about things, and obviously, if you're able to consume organic, sustainable, locally sourced product, that's great, right? That's obviously hands down, there's no arguing with that, right? But if somebody thinks that eating a burger is bad for you versus eating, a salad is good for you. What we're trying to do is kind of take the negative food bias out of people's minds, and show people that it's all about portion sizes and how much of each thing you consume, right? And really educating people as to what that food is and how, based on how much you consume it, is going to affect you, right? So our philosophy really is to remove negative food bias from people and focus on portion sizing and obviously, like you said, local sustainable as well, right? So just because a burger is might be fatty and have a lot of calories, and you shouldn't eat a lot of it, doesn't mean it's going to stop existing, right? So the whole goal is to make people realize that yes, you can consume things in certain portions, right? But you have to understand and realize how it's going to affect your body, right? And basically figure out a way to customize your diets to fit, to still, have a healthy mental and physical life, right? So remove negative food biases, understand how, educate people on how, calories, macros, things like that work. And then also educating people on other aspects of food and health. That's what we've been focusing on lately.
Great. And I know during COVID, this is a kind of a bonus question maybe, but things have really changed with food. For example, I think a lot of people are now used to going online and ordering stuff for delivery instead of going to a restaurant. So I think a business like yours is so well positioned in this new environment. And you're actually delivering food to the Oakland Rotary #3 is what I said, and also an event that we have coming up on the 30th as well. So it's great to have somebody in the food business, the healthy food business, in the Rotary Club. So you can kind of share your story and this great wealth of healthy eating with our club. So it's such a nice thing. And I can't wait to try some of the dishes at some of those upcoming events we have. But how would you say that you were impacted by COVID? And we have a lot of restaurants that have kind of forever closed their doors or disappeared. But so I'll just kick it back to you, what you kind of see in the industry there.
Yeah, so when it first happened, I think people weren't sure how this whole COVID thing happened and how it was spreading. So when it first happened, everything just kind of like the business just kind of went down for like a couple of weeks, and everybody was like up in arms about it. But as there was more information available, and it turned out that it wasn't because of food. Our business actually picked up quite a bit. Fortunately, we never depended on foot traffic and people to come and buy from us directly at a storefront. That kind of really worked for us. Unfortunately, we did have like supplier side issues, and we still have supplier side issues. There were at a time, there was a real big shortage of masks, gloves, things like that. The proteins at a certain point, people were out of chicken. It was a really strange time. And then obviously, because of this whole COVID situation, it's also put a lot of strain on trade. So any imports, anything that was imported, we're having to pay a premium for the same thing we would get for pennies on the dollar, right? And then also hiring and retaining employees has been difficult because I believe they were able to get paid more on unemployment, than being employed, right? So we had a little bit of that, but fortunately, the good thing is our sales kept strong, and we had a good problem to solve. So very fortunate and grateful for that.
Good to
Cool.
hear.
Can I ask you, how does it actually work? The local foods Cali program, are these meals coming prepared, or are they something that you get to prepare? How does it work exactly?
Yeah, these are fully cooked, prepared meals that are portioned out to you. So if you check out our website and our app, you're able to place an order for your meals on a date of your choosing. So unlike a restaurant business where you would place an order and you receive your meals immediately, you're able to place an order, pick the date that you want, right? And then obviously with the idea with meal prepping and eating healthy is you want to have healthy meals accessible to you, at any given time, right? So most people order like a number of meals ahead of time and get it delivered, on the date of their choosing. So that's how we do it.
Great. And you have like a way for like a family to order, a package of meals, and it's like a discount to do it, or to do a whole bundle or something?
Yeah, so you're able to select and pick out meals a la carte, or you can select a whole plan or a package. And then you can even subscribe to those meals so that they repeat each week. And as a way to market ourselves better and also to help our customers, every dollar that you spend on our system, if you're not using some sort of discount code, you get a 5% reward back, as as store credit, so that you can use it towards your next order. So the whole discount system is already built into the system. So if you place your order, you can immediately use the store credit for your next order.
Great. And wanted to ask you another bonus question here, and then we'll end with some closing remarks from us. But about I've been trying to get Erica to join Rotary and come visit us, but I didn't. You're a new member of Rotary. I just wanted to see if you could share with our viewers, what brought you to the club, and what you think of it so far.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't know this before, but it turns out I'm a third generation Rotarian. Yeah, my dad had always been kind of pushing me to join the Rotary, and he would always tell me, "Hey, you need to join the Rotary," and kind of like just because of the amazing business connections you get to make, and the just to know who's who in the area. I think Rotary is very beneficial in terms of just connecting with so many different people from all different of walks of life, and 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 most of these people that you meet are business owners, lawyers, and most of them are very resourceful in different ways, right? So that is something I've experienced right as soon as I joined the Rotary. And most people I've met are very easy to talk to and very helpful as well. Met some folks like David who are into marketing and things like that, who immediately um, pulled me into meetings and recommended what I should do better and how I could improve the business and things like that. So I think that's a invaluable resource. So yeah, if you're thinking of joining, you should join.
Yeah, and in interest of full disclosure, I'm actually the chair of the membership committee. So I'm always looking for recruits out there, and talk to me or Sandeep about the club. And just great to hear your story and it is such a wise club. The people in that club know so much more about business and, I do. And so we can learn so much from each other, but also about the connection between business and the community. And now we have these different aspects like the health aspect. And then, so we have these speakers on a lot of these different themes too. So it really has kind of, something for everybody there. And I love hearing that. Erica, if you don't mind, if you maybe have some closing comments or remarks, and then I'm going to wrap up here so I can go
Sure.
pick up Carrie.
Sure. Well, it's so cool to get to meet you, Sandeep. I'm excited to connect and find out maybe how we can collaborate with the program that I do, with what you're offering, and just to learn more. I also help people grow food. And so there's a lot of future collaborations we could connect about.
Absolutely.
And this idea of like, growing community, growing community around something that will help people in their health is I'm all about it. So thank you for creating this.
Absolutely. We're talking to a couple organizations in Alameda County that are nonprofits that also do something. The keyword they use is a circular food economy, right? So basically, growing your produce locally and also being able to serve the community with the same produce, and then also giving back, in order to enrich the community. So yeah, I totally resonate with you on that.
Yeah, exciting. I have somebody, I know we got to wrap up, but like,
Yeah, we could have those folks on the podcast if they're interested.
totally.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I like the idea that people can build their meals based on what they're concerned about. And, I was just talking with somebody who has a cholesterol issue, and I bet you have meals that are specifically designed to, take out the high cholesterol. And
So we allow people the ability to customize their meals, right? So you can literally choose what items you want or don't want in your meals, and you can choose the portion sizes for those. So that really enables enables the customer to make the right choices, right, and get those foods ahead of time so that they make those good decisions, right? So yeah, so that's how we do it.
Excellent. Well, I put my info in the chat to you, Sandeep, and I look forward to when we can connect some more.
Absolutely. Let's connect, Erica. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, great. And
Thank you, David.
well, we will put the links to your business, how to order from Sandeep, in the chat, and keep in touch. We'll have you back on one of the podcasts sometime soon, and to check in. Usually every 6 months or so, we like to have our close circles of guests come back. So we look forward to hearing how you continue to do out there, and I'll see you soon at Rotary. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. See you soon, David. Thank you, Erica.